Property Patriot, you are cleared hot.
In this episode of the Aim High podcast, I sit down with Tyler Leckas and Jason Postel. They're co-founders of the MHCI Group to dive into their journey into the mobile home park investment realm. Tyler shares his transition from the financial sector to real estate, motivated by a joke from his father to explore mobile home parks for a better quality of life. Jason, drawing from his professional baseball background, discusses his attraction to commercial real estate and eventual partnership with Tyler. Their story unfolds through cold calls, persistence, and shared goals, highlighting their strategy to grow within Arkansas and expand nationally with an aim for over 10,000 units. This episode covers their evolution from managing small properties personally to strategizing for a large-scale growth. Hear about how they started, how they grew their business, where we provide real estate investors with the tools to achieve generational wealth. This is the Aim High Podcast, episode 74. Hello and welcome to the Aim High Podcast. I'm your host, Bud Evans. Today I'm with Jason Postel and Tyler Leckas. How are you guys doing?
Great. Thanks for having us on.
Hey, it's an absolute pleasure. Can you do me a favor and give me a quick introduction?
Absolutely. Yeah, my name is Tyler Leckas. I'm one of the co-founders of MHCI Group. I started out in the financial world. I traded fixed income and for a long time, and then started diving into MH when my dad actually sent me over an article about mobile home parks. And he basically said, tongue in cheek, hey, you're pretty good at running cash flows. These real estate guys are not that smart. And then he said, you should try checking out this asset class. I think it could give you a better quality of life because I was working 120-hour weeks, blah, blah, blah. And so I started looking into it and ended up buying my first deal in 2018 in Florida by Space Park. And that came shortly after that. It was a pretty funny story. We'll dive into it if we got time. But and then we started, investing pretty heavily in Arkansas. And now we're the largest private owner in mobile home parks in Arkansas. And still looking to grow.
Jason, how did you find yourself in manufactured homes?
Yeah, Jason Postel. And yes, my background out of college, I played professional baseball for about 5 years. But I heard a big leaguer, one of my last years playing at pro camp, he said he didn't make his millions in playing baseball. He made it owning thousands of units in South Detroit, apartments. And I said, oh, bingo. Because I always gravitated to commercial real estate. Didn't have family in the business, didn't really, just kind of intuition, right? Just like buildings, just the, skyline. I don't know what it was. But when I heard that, I said, okay, that's where I want to figure it out. And I still didn't really know what that meant. So I ended up getting a broker's license or real estate license. And for all your listeners, obviously that's irrelevant if you're trying to be an investor. Oftentimes investors, they don't want the liability of having that license. But it was good to get in and learn the ins and outs and contracts, negotiations. It's all relative. And then found out quickly residential wasn't what I wanted to do. Great business, but it just wasn't what I was thinking of. And then the apartments was always in the back of my head and got into the apartment brokerage side of it. Ended up going independent and then started thinking, hey, it's time to invest, build my book. I didn't have a 401k, didn't have a typical investment account, and said, hey, it's time to start investing. And I'm finding all these deals for these other guys. And I learned the syndication model. So I know I didn't have to wait till later down the road when I just had piles of cash sitting around. So long story short, I ended up meeting Tyler. And we can touch on that whenever, but that was, through a cold call. And now here we are.
All right. So did you called him? He called you? How did that work?
Yeah. And we have different spins on because it was during the holidays. And actually I went independent. It was like probably my first week independent, right? Nobody knew the name. I still don't. JP Capital Solutions. I had a list of down the East Coast of Florida, and he had a park down in Titusville. And it was either like day before. I don't know if it was actually Thanksgiving, but he'll correct me. But it was definitely holiday time. Hey, this is Jason, JP. And he literally said, who the F is JP? And hung up. Or I was trying to offer on his park. And then I called him right back because I didn't get out what I wanted to say. And it irritates me. I'm just like, hey, this guy didn't even let me get out what I want to say. I might be of value, even though the offer was slap in the face. I didn't know. But anyway, we ended up meeting for coffee. I got a meeting and we ended up being pretty aligned in our goals. He had already owned a park. I didn't own anything yet, but I was trying to get into that space. And we ended up for almost probably 2 years, it was like a year and a half, we were getting our tail kicked down here in Florida, and just the cap rates were so compressed, 4.5, 5 caps, cash close. We couldn't make sense of it. And then, Tyler, you can hop in and tell the other side of it, but then we ended up in Arkansas. We'll get to that, but it was
I'm still on he hung up on me.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Ty. But I just, if I don't at least get out what I want to say, I'm not going to harass people and keep calling them, but it's, I might be bringing value here. Maybe not, but let's find out. And so that always eats me. But go ahead, Ty. You might have a different spin on it.
Yeah. Basically, I was drinking a couple of beers with my buddies. I think it was the fourth Thanksgiving or 2 days before Thanksgiving. I was home. And so I get a call from my Florida number. I pick it up. And at that time, everything was going gangbusters. 2018, we had just closed on this property 6 months prior. And people were starting to hear about mobile home park. I was getting calls from brokers like every week. So I get a Florida number. I think it's maybe one of my tenants, or because I was self-managing that asset. I didn't have a manager. And so I pick up the phone and I had some Jason JV Gap Solutions, and okay, Jason, what do you got? And I want to buy your park. I got some investors. I want to buy your park. Oh, okay. What's your offer? He's like, okay, for the units you got. I got 55, blah, 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 go through all that stuff. He's like, quick back of the napkin map, I could buy it from me for $2 million. And we had just bought the thing for $2 million 6 months prior. And I was like, shut for your mother F. and they called right back, and I cut my teeth, sales and finance. And so I made 29,000 phone calls my first year. So I knew about calling that. And if you're a coward, you're not going to call back, but you can call back. And I was like, let's. So then I get 8 pounds sipping on my beer, pick up the phone. And then he basically said, I was flat broke. I was Ubering and doing a courier shift sometimes. So I spent every dollar I had basically on this park. And so he said, I got the capital and I want to start buying deals myself. So that would basically set this meeting after the holidays. And we ended up aligning. And then, as he explained, basically a year or a year and a half, we really got to know each other and how our resilience, because you don't meet very many guys that are looking for that long-term cash flow, long-term viability of an asset, right? Really what you find is guys that are looking for those quick hitting IRRs, quick hitting flips. And Jason and I were super aligned. And again, nothing wrong with the guys that want to hit the quick hitters, just not our philosophy. And he had some crazy resilience and crazy work ethic. And so you end up finding some synergies there and go on. So
Great. So you hit it off that, and I'll second that, because there are a lot of guys that in my world where I'm currently operating that are looking for the 3-year turn max. Is that kind of the model? You guys are looking a little bit farther out than that?
Usually 5 years. And we get it, like all of our refis up to date have been less than 18 months. And we were doing most of our refis at 21, 22. So push rents, occupancy up, refi, right? So it's a different game that we're playing these days. But what we're trying to do is we do a syndication structure. And what we try to do is we say, look, it's a 70-30 split, head press on all of our deals. And we just say, and we keep all the investors in the deal. So after we refi, it's usually 3 to 5 years, probably 5 years now because of the interest rate environment. And we hold on for perpetuity. So you're going to be getting K1s for forever. So again, you got the right type of investors as well. But that's the type of model we want to build. And at MHCI Group, we want to try and get 1,000 units. That's our goal. So
Tough to sell a syndication when somebody can't get their money back in 5 or 7 years.
okay.
But if you're giving them 10% preferred return, are they going to complain? I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
Right. The equity multiples, depending on how well you do with the refi, it could be infinite right off the bat. So how did you start out, like with the mobile home parks? Now you guys get together, you start to drive forward with a common goal. What's your first deal look like?
Yeah. So that was it was a 68 site park in Arkansas. And so again, going back to Florida where the competition, Tyler had a wild area in Arkansas, and we once we got that first deal done, it just caught fire, right? Because it's not a competitive. Fayetteville, West Arkansas is getting more competitive now. But once we landed that first deal, and we'll get into specifics on the deals, but it was just nobody was calling in on that side. Brokers, just owners, we gobbled up those 18, 20, 40s. We really capitalized on those opportunities because what we realized is no institution is looking at anything under arguably 2, 3, 500 units. And the private investor, solopreneur guy, it is tough sometimes to take down a 40 unit on your own when you're doing it on the weekend. So we were able to just, I think we did 12 of those deals, Tyler, in 24 months. We were picking up as many as we could. And it wasn't a super competitive market at that time. And they were heavy turnarounds, meaning the infill and Tyler and I have some overlap. I'm down here in Florida. He's in Little Rock right now. So he's on the ground operations, getting in there. He can tell you more on the project side, but we vertically integrated our property management company. So it started out just, him and I. We're answering tenant phone calls, turning cash. Apartment guys don't really probably appreciate it as much as mobile home park guys taking over mom and pop with wads of cash. But when we first turned that first park and it was, hey, let's see your bank statements, and he doesn't have any, we're like, what do you mean? And so we literally flew in to the manager. When do we see this come? Where does it? And we sat in the manager's home in the community and watched. Oh yeah, between the 3rd and the 5th, they come in, and sure enough, here's wads of cash. And so it was wild early on. I just touch on that because it's not really thought of. Online pay everything now is just so. Especially,
I'm smiling because I'm sitting here. The minute you said what, I have a small multifamily, and literally one of the leases was on a napkin, and the guy would just drop off cash weekly into a mailbox, and I'm like, what?
It's wild. It's wild, and and that's, and I know you asked what kind of deal, so I'll let Tyler jump in with the operations, but just those little things, wow. We didn't even know Pay, Lease, Zago, right? These were like Google searches. We listen to podcasts and it's great, but what you put on in operation can give value, and you hear some things, right? People might not know these third-party gateways. Those little things were just challenging opposed to the big lifts, right? Putting a home on, setting it, dealing with the contractors Tyler does on a daily basis. But yeah, good. It's fun. Put deals together. We love the deal side. So
great. How are the operations divided up? Do you have a team at this point, or how are you working that?
Yeah, so the operations are really divided up where I do a lot of and again, we're in startup land. So Jason's wearing 10 different hats. I'm wearing 10 different hats. We always say we clean the bathrooms and race town. I'm sure as the owner, you put the team on your back a little bit and carry it to the finish line. But really, how it's divided up right now is the operations are like on-site operations, construction, et cetera. It's been my wheelhouse. Jason does the sophisticated smart guy stuff where he does all the books, the systems, everything else. He'll shake his head. That's really where he shines. And we tag team all the deals. It was interesting because when Jason's a monster on the phones. And so what Jason did originally was he started calling all these owners, right? And all of these owners were real mom and pop. So they pick up the phone, but they say, I don't believe y'all are here. I don't want to talk to y'all. I don't want to do anything with y'all until I can see somebody in person. So it was great. So I'd tag team it. I'd go meet him. I'd say, hey, Billy Bob, I'm Tyler. I'm real. We got the cash. You want to do a deal? And so it was a great tag team effort on that front to go out and scoop up deals because to make the introduction, he's a killer on the phone, but then they want to meet somebody in person. I just go show up. I go show up in my overalls, no t-shirt underneath, and a piece of hay hanging out my mouth, and then take it to the finish line. So that's how that worked. I do more on-site operations. He does more back-end systems, and then we tag team the deal. So that's it.
Awesome. And then now the integration of the property management company. How did that work? Did you guys jump off and start with an actual property management company, or were you just like, we're just going to knock this out right now and just do it all on our own?
Let's take a quick break.
Are you looking to fine-tune your real estate journey? Welcome to the REI Roundtable, your gateway to real estate success. Led by industry veterans Bud Evans and Jen Josie, this accountability group is dedicated to helping real estate investors like you smash through your annual goals. With our unique approach, we break down your big ambitions into manageable, weekly, bite-sized targets, ensuring you stay on track and motivated. Whether you're looking to expand your portfolio, increase your returns, or simply get more disciplined in your investment journey, the REI Roundtable is here to guide you every step of the way. Join us and let's turn those real estate dreams into concrete achievements. Your path to real estate mastery starts here. Check the link in the description to sign up for the REI Roundtable now.
In mobile home parks, like that first deal, they're typically on those small mom and pop. They'll have someone that's living in the community that's just going around, picking up rent or doing a little bit, but that's it. And so we take that on to see, because you got to have eyes and ears in the community.
Yes.
But what we found early on is the salary to really support quality, especially on those little. This isn't $2,000 apartment rent. It's $350 lot rent. And some that were taken over $90 lot rent, if you can believe. In America, somebody lives for that, $200. To source any of that out, that's what Tyler said. It was him and I answering phones, doing literally everything until we did reach the next 5 parks we bought. It calls at that point, it was 100, almost 200 unit or tenants, right? So the calls, it was just like, okay, we can't do it. This is just, the capacity is not there to do literally everything in inbound calls. So then we started seeing, okay, virtual assistants, because that was maybe a little more feasible than hiring $50,000 property manager. We weren't even making that in cash flow at the time. Slowly but surely, we started getting 24/7 call services and having some really quality VAs, but it was a turn. And then we still do go the route where we'll have an on-site manager that lives in the park oftentimes, and we'll be able to pay them and keep them happy and a little more quality. But yeah, it was tough getting to that point. We're still at that point where we're building out still our policy procedures, and we're at the point now, just under 700 units, we can get to a district manager and support a good salary. But so yeah, go ahead, Ty.
Oh, I was just going to say, yeah, just to piggyback on that, basically, we were the property management team. That's really what we were. Jason and I were literally the property management. So for our first 7 assets, that's who did property management. It was, again, I was handing out notices, 50 people, general correspondence with the property, construction, et cetera. And Jason did all the back end systems. So it was literally us. And now it's became a system where Jason touched on it. We've got a 24-hour Mexico City answering service. And we actually have a real property manager now that we can pay $65,000 a year. So we've got like some pieces that are now coming together. But initially, yeah, the property management team, we had a company, but it was 2 employees. Yeah. And you were looking at them. So
That's it. Yeah. Do you have a specific number that you look at before you will go and let one of your tenants be the property management for that area? Is it like 20 doors, like you have 20 places and now we're just going to let this guy run it, or is it?
I see. Yeah. Now we definitely have a number, like in a new market. I mean, since we are 700 units in Arkansas, a lot of that centrally located, we can take a 10, 20, or not a 10. We don't have 10. We have an 18 as our smallest asset. Our largest is 120, but we could still take down a 20, 30 and feel comfortable because we have the resources. But in a new market, 50, below 50 units, it hasn't made a lot of sense. So we do see, and outside of where we're at, we are looking to grow Southeast, but yeah, it would have to be a minimum of 50 sites to really make sense of it and make sure that it plugs into our current infrastructure.
Great. Now, there's always something, right, that doesn't work out. What was the one that sticks in your mind that you're just like, I can't believe that we just did that?
So we have two stories. One story ended up working out actually really well for us. Another story, but the other story continues to limp along here. We bought an 18th space property in a real rough area here. If you've ever been to Little Rock before, there's Little Rock and then there's North Little Rock. They're two different towns. Anyways, so we bought an 18th space property. It was 100% park-owned home. So for your listeners out there, a park-owned home is just a rental mobile home. So you own the home and you own the dirt underneath it, right? In most mobile home parks, you just own the dirt, you collect lot rent, and that's it. So these were all older mobile homes, and the residents in these mobile homes were less than quality, let's put it that way. And we ended up going in there. We ended up evicting 80% of that community almost immediately. We tore down 2 mobile homes. It looked like a forest in the property. So we probably did 30,000 in tree work. And again, if you can imagine that, 30,000 in tree work for an 18th base property the math doesn't really math. You know what I mean? And we paved the roads, did some other things. And again, it continued to limp along because the area is so bad, you can't get quality residents in there. So when you do have a turn and you do renovate a home, they let the home in such bad condition to get ROIs just don't work out. So it's been a real tough property. And my funny story from that property is there was a woman who resembled Brian Urlacher in the property. And I served her with an eviction notice. This was in our first kind of 7 properties that we were just doing ourselves. And she tried to hit me with a haymaker, and I jumped off her stairs, and then she swung all the way through, and she fell down her stairs into a mud puddle. And I didn't really know what to do. So I just stood there, and she got up. She made like a grunting noise, got up and started chasing me. So then I ran back in my car, and so I speed out of the property. And then another resident we were evicting in there at the time came out, spit on my car on my way out of the property. So that's the type of people that were in this property. And anyways, it's still very tough. It still needs a lot of work, and the area just prohibits us from dumping any type of real money into the home. So that's fine.
And for some reason, I just got the picture of the water boy coming through the.
Yeah.
So bad. Man. Jason, you something stick out in your mind or no?
Yes. Oh, and just to touch on that, yeah, it's hard to say that property was $248,000, right, for 18 years. So it's like, we'll never lose on that. And we've done some really great improvements there. But yeah, that one's been, the worst. The only other one that sticks out, and it ends up being a big win. So it is a good one to talk about because it was a 33 site park and it was 100% tenant or 100% park owned homes. So similar to Broadway in a better location and full, which for your listeners to due diligence, we were told it was a 39 site park. Tyler walks each pad. Oh, this is weird. Seller, why is there a 33? I have no idea. You've only owned it 30 years. So why would you, right? Like, it's like, how so doing thorough due diligence, not saying he was lying to us, but he literally just didn't know. Again, grabbing cash and just, anyway. So our model, turning these homes into tenant-owned homes, eliminates all that expense. If anything, we'll do the lease option purchase where we still get some additional yield, but we convert those. This was our first 100% park-owned home. So we thought, hey, we're going in there. We were hard and fast because we learned early on these guys will eat you alive. If you say, hey, the no pay, no stay policy, that does work, right? Hey, your late fee, this, and then by the 15th, you're getting an eviction. So we learned that we did have to be firm, right? Or they'll eat us alive. This one backfired on us a little bit because what we did was, hey, you're going to buy your home and own your home, be a tenant-owned home. And we thought too, it was like, oh, great, home ownership. We're helping everybody. Oh, we weren't making them pay 10, 20 grand. It was like maybe, and then we gave, I think, a couple options too, right? So it wasn't like we're telling them they didn't have 5 or 10 grand. It was like, oh, 500 down, or there was a plan to make it work. And 50% of the park just leaves tenants. And honestly, in rentals, that's like a nightmare situation. The only thing worse is going 100%. So that what happened was we just said, oh my gosh, what like that? We've never even thought that was going to happen. And so it ended up, we were able to service the debt service and expenses. So it wasn't like we were just bleeding out where we just couldn't and something really bad was going to happen. But it was like maybe a break even, call it. But we knew we were in bad shape if we didn't do something quick. So fortunately, we had the capital raised to do the renovations on that and turn them into a lease option. So then what we found is, okay, great. There's a huge demand. We were able to get 1,000 down, turn them into homeowners, but as a lease option to purchase at the end. And that is one of our top performing assets to date. So it did end up working out really well, but we've never had a part go 50%. And that, again, as a landlord, that's like a nightmare. That's like,
we lost 80% of what? Yeah.
80%. Oh, wow.
30 doors. It was bad. It was bad.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. Yeah. We'll talk offline. I'll tell you after.
Okay.
Right. So, yeah. Guys, now, you've gotten through all that stuff. And you made it through the rain. Where do you go from here?
Yeah. Where our company is trying to go is trying to get to 10,000 units. We got 697 right now. We're under contract on 281 more units here in the state of Arkansas. And we've got a whole bunch more. We got a 96 RV park in Arkansas. What we like about that, we're not going to get to 10,000 mobile home units in the state of Arkansas. We're going to have to go nationwide to do that. But that's how we're pushing forward. And I think what a lot of our investors like is that we've got such a presence in Arkansas. We can smooth out all those fixed costs with our management, and we continue to gobble up scale here in Arkansas. So we know state laws. We can maneuver through the political system pretty well. We know state officials, whatever, all that stuff. Because Arkansas is a good old voice. So that's the path forward. Based on this.
No, you nailed it. That's it. We got some lofty goals. Yeah. For 2030, we're getting those operations SOPs in place. And I think that's going to help us move. So that's it.
Great. Just going to go into what is one thing that you guys have learned as your wealth increased and as your company grew?
Yeah, that's a really good one because you don't know what you don't know. And so one thing though is and for guys getting into it, whether young or old or novice, like it's a slow play. And yes, there's some quick hitters. Again, that's why for the wholesaling, flipping, there's some good ways in the business. So it's all relative where you don't have to work a W-2. You can still have some active income in the business, but knowing that it is because when you're little, if you think, oh, when I'm a millionaire, you're just going to be sitting on piles of cash. I don't know about every real estate guy, but I didn't think it'd be as cash poor getting into some higher net worth, investing every dollar, just reinvest in the business, not grabbing the cashes. Tyler and I were talking about that today we haven't had capital calls to investors. And so seeing those healthy bank accounts and be like, oh, great. Hey, we can send out some distributions. We don't take a paycheck, but we realize, hey, we're not there yet. And so understanding, okay, great, on net worth and paper could look wonderful, but that cash is going to grow that business and feed that monster. So it becomes a monster. That was one big, you hear it, it's not a get rich quick, but a get rich for sure deal. But you got to get there and it takes preserving and reinvesting. Yeah, that's been one thing is for sure just knowing, hey, this is a long play, right? These are legacy assets. It's something that's going to be kids deal. And that's not something that's just a quick hitter overnight, but go ahead, Ty.
Yeah. I think just say to the point, stay broke, stay cash poor. Mm-hmm. As long as you can do it. I speak from a place of, because I don't have kids, I don't have a wife. And so any dollar I get, I just throw it right back into business. And I just know that in 10 years, we continue to scale how we're scaling now, right? I think I'm going to be, hopefully we don't screw it up, but It's that we will be wealthy individuals, but it takes time for those assets to mature. You need time to go do that. The more you can scale up and then build in people between you and the management company, because the management is the worst part of this whole assets and investors. That's fun. Like tracking deals down and talking with the owner and negotiating and so I love all that stuff, but staying for basically stay cash poor and asset rich and then hopefully you'll have both at some point in your life. So
Let's take a quick break.
Hey, do you need help running your business? I don't know what I would do without my executive assistant. Get outsourced solutions for every need by visiting Reba Global. Check them out now and get help for just about every aspect of your business today. From marketing through property management and even administrative virtual assistants. Check out Reba Global. The link is in the show notes. My wife got mad at me because she said, essentially, our net worth's been higher than it's ever been. Why are we so cash strapped? And I said, go ask 120 Key to write you a check. You know, it doesn't work that way. It doesn't. So yeah, I fully agree with that. That's a great one. Guys, we're going to go into the story four. These are the same four questions that I ask every guest that can help someone who is just starting out achieve new heights. The first question, and guys, this can be together. It can be separately, each person to his own. What do you use to keep you motivated?
In the business, the deals really goes back. Deal junkie, the property management thing, don't love it. It's the lifeblood of the business, right? So I love going on the hunt, right? Finding the deal, negotiating the deal, putting the deal together. That's just what gets me excited. And you're like, oh, what do you do for fun? And similar to Ty, I do have a daughter. So I do play daddy and try to be the best father I can. But I just love putting the deals together. And there's always this endless pit. Obviously it works. So it is. There's some time you got to say, okay, hey, let's come up for air. But I thoroughly enjoy looking at deals. So it's even my free time. It's not really, I have a super hobby to go fishing or something. Just the deals is really the motivation and in the business. That's my business.
I'll get you going, Tyler.
Yeah, the deal for sure. I got to agree with Jason on that, but I don't want to sound petty to your listeners out there, to you, but all the people who said I couldn't do it, that definitely keeps me motivated. I've got to say, I don't know any names, but I had friends, family, friends of friends, people that you meet. I'm starting a business and I'm buying a home park and we're going to get to 10,000 units, $500 million in AUM. Oh, you can't do that. Oh, that's impossible. Oh, you know how hard that is. I do. I'm going to prove you wrong. And one of the stories that keeps you motivated is I was at my best buddy's wedding. I was his best man. And a woman came up to me and said, oh, I heard you're moving to Florida. And I said, yeah, I'm taking a flyer on a mobile home park and I think it's good business. She goes, why don't you invest in restaurants or hotels? I kind of explained to her risk-adjusted returns and what percentage of mobile home parks make it. She didn't care. She just was like, that's so gross. That's disgusting. And I don't think that's going to work. And I was like, one day I'm going to roll up my Rolls Royce and you're going to know who made it, who did. So
Right.
It's not too much.
I owned a restaurant. Don't own a restaurant. The margins are too tight, man. They're too tight. What's one thing you learned that completely changed your mindset?
For me, not to get religious, I'm a God-fearing man. So having a faith that maybe I'm a delusional, optimistic person too sometimes, but that everything's going to work itself out. I almost hate that answer because it is every day we're getting just killed out here, right? But it's, again, for having that faith, hey, we'll weather the storm, we'll get through it. But additionally, it's like setting goals, right? So I remember that was nothing I ever did consciously. I didn't really read a book, embarrassingly enough, until I was like 26 years old, right? And then just start really self-educating. But I did little things growing up. Like I remember I wrote my mom a letter when I was 10. I'm going to be a professional baseball player. And like growing up, I was like, oh, wow, writing your goal, having a little vision board. You know, not too long ago, I want to own 100 units. And then boom, we crushed that in a matter of a year once we got started, right? I mean, it was 7 years in the making, but it was what happened quickly. So yeah, just learn how to just not be small-minded and having large goals, because somehow, somewhat, again, universe, call it what you want, it's God. It works itself out. So that's mine.
Yeah, I think mine is something that I learned is longevity. I didn't really knew what it meant to get into building a business and needing like time under your belt and grinding through the small things, because those monotonous small things, like the standard operating procedures, I've been talking with Jason about this for a year. He wants to rip his hair out every single time I talk about it. But I've been like grinding through just to kind of show a vacant home. And it's like that those monotonous procedures is what allow you to build a gigantic businesses. And that longevity in the game, the more people that know about you, right? The more time you have as a track record, the more things start to exponentially grow for you. And I didn't realize, honestly, it was taking this much time. I thought year and a half in, people are going to know us, we're going to have track record, blah, 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 and we're just going to start raising capital. But it takes like a long time. It takes decades of not knowing whether you're really going to make it or not in the game of entrepreneurship, so that was definitely been a lesson when I got my eyes open 2 years in. I was like, man, we need some time under our belt. We need some longevity. So that was
Nice. I'm all about the SOPs, man. That's a military thing. Aim high podcast, right? It's an Air Force thing. Guys, what keeps you together as a company? What keeps you on track?
You're looking at Tyler and I, we're both as business entrepreneurs in general, right? Because we don't like to be told what to do. We're in a business for ourselves. But when you have accountability partner, and Tyler and I stay out of each other's hair, obviously there's a lot over that, but we're not telling each other what to do. We know what we do. And it isn't an accountability. It's like, shit, Tyler's word is on. He's up till 2 a.m. jamming on emails. I go to bed a little earlier. When I'm up, we're going to see each other by a couple hours. And I'm doing my thing. But yeah, we're not telling each other what to do, but there's that accountability, because nobody else is going to care like the owners. And so no matter what quality manager, no matter what, it's going to come back on us. So having that accountability, obviously, little systems, we're always getting, rent manager has been the backbone of our, from now, payment and little CRM systems to just have our pipeline. And again, nothing's perfect yet by any means. Little systems to stay on track. Hey, we're both hammering on calls this weekend just because we got a big race coming, and we were able to go to where we've had leads set. And so if it was just like it used to be on this that gets lost and sticky notes, then little systems like that. But I know I gave you two bipolar answers, but that's
it all comes back down to accountability, as far as I'm hearing.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I think accountability. If you're looking at the accountability every single time I maybe I'm in a pouty mood, want to be a little pouty baby, I just let Jason down. That's it. Like, you got to continue to muster forward. And I'm some self-discipline and some moral obligations to your business, but yeah, that accountability is basically my own not wanting to be a loser. So that's it. Doesn't get any more dry than that.
All right. And guys, the last thing, would you change anything if you had to start all over?
I got asked. I didn't get asked. The only thing I've ever really said, I don't like looking back, I wish I wouldn't have, because there's plenty. Hey, I wish I wouldn't have drank, but now I'm 7 years over. I don't touch alcohol, but I don't regret anything other than go back to the 20 centuries. I'm still a young man and but self-educating. I don't know when the podcast really got big, just starting earlier. And I'd never been a big procrastinator on taking action. Now, if I have some paperwork to do, I can't always say I don't procrastinate that, but just getting going earlier on just self-educating like that just would have been, building something. I had heard some guys that were in the minor leagues, they bought a fourplex. I'm 11 years now out of the league when I played, and that thing would have been refied probably 4 times. It would have gone up and down in value. And so just those little things, but no, I don't. Good, bad, and different. I know. And we're learning every day still. I'm learning every day and just.
Tyler, you're still answering the call on the second call, right?
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah. Yeah. Go back and change it. If we're really playing Monday morning quarterback here, some of the deals that we found in Florida, I would have scraped and clawed to try and get those deals done because everything in Florida has just gone gangbusters. Anything that would have $300 or $200 lot rent in front of it is now $800. It's wild what's going on down there. And so I would definitely try and snap up a couple of those. But again, that's really playing Monday morning quarterback. It's really Captain Hindsight over here. But other than that, I want to say too, like maybe not starting with such small properties, but I don't think we would be at where we're at if we use those as a catapult, build the business and build our procedures and build our knowledge base. So that's tough for me to say that I would have changed that as well. So I don't know. I like where we're at. We've definitely made mistakes along the way. Everything from construction to procedurally to systems to employees, but it got us to where we are right now, which I'm never really satisfied, but I'm happy with the trajectory that we're going in.
Nice. Guys, I'm going to tell you, this is episode number 74, and I have yet to hear anybody go, yeah, man, I wouldn't have done this. Never happens. And the reason that I leave it in there is simply because I want to hear it over and over again, right? Well, it's self-gratifying. I want to hear other people who are successful or more successful who tell me, no, dude, or even the people that are listening, hey, just keep chugging. Okay. Guys, if somebody wanted to reach out, how would they do that?
We're always on the email, Jason at MHCIGroup.com, and with Tyler at MHCIGroup.com and MHCIGroup.com are out there and check it out. We're not hard to find on LinkedIn or wherever.
Yeah, I'm definitely. Oh, keep going, Jason.
Oh no, maybe Ty, go ahead.
I was going to say definitely check out MHCIGroup.com. We've got a link to our syndication for our website. We're ready for a couple of deals right now. Pretty attractive, pretty large deals, as well as our LinkedIn pages have a lot of useful information. And then guys don't have a wild hair, like I posted about an old model that I met in a mobile home park. A long story. You can go check it out on LinkedIn. It's a pretty good, it's a funny story. So water issues with it only. So go check it out. Just the funny stuff that happened in there or whatever. It's mobile home park, right? So both the funny content, and we also have a lot of really great content. Jason posts a lot about syndications. We post a lot about operations, private utilities, et cetera. So I would definitely go on there and go check out our website.
Excellent. I'll make sure that's all in the show notes. The model, but I might link that. I don't know. We'll see. All right, guys. Hey, thank you very much again for coming on today. I appreciate your time.
Thanks for having us on.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
Thanks for being a part of the Aim High community. Your support drives us to create valuable content, and we can't wait to see your success stories in real estate investing. Till next time, aim high, never stop learning. Bud Evans, signing off. We'll see you soon.